Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year.
Well, here we are, episode number 407 here at Tropical Nomad every Monday, SpeakuP Monday. Now, tonight's very special for a bunch of different reasons. One being the return of our brother, Don Emilio Canessa.
Let's hear it! Come on!
Sister Grace from Jakarta. Brother Tom from South Africa. And brother Bruno Galabretta from Italy. So it was about a year and 2 months ago that I think the three of us, I think Tom was around as well, we sat down, we created this group, right? This intimate little group of all of the blockchain people that we really liked. Some we didn't like, but most of which we did like, right? Here in Bali. Just telling the truth. I'm sorry if I tell the truth. So what happened was that a year and 2 months later, from this group has come like 6 or 7 extremely solid projects. One of which I'm looking at 2, 3, 4 of the founders is a national program adopted by government. There's another one which is in a similar position, and another one which is also in a similar position. So there's like 3 projects which have been pretty much adopted by government, which I think is an amazing feat in 1 year and 2 months. A round of applause for that. So Disruptives ICP Hub Indonesia, powered by the Internet Computer Protocol, is what we're talking about tonight as the second part of Indonesia's blockchain future series. And the whole point of this is that we do have a structure, right? Normally we don't, but we do have a structure. Yes, we do. It's 5 questions, right? Which we'll get into eventually. And 1 bonus question, of course. So these questions are designed to kind of go to the heart of what is Indonesia in terms of blockchain, where the future lies, what are the challenges, how can we support, why are we here, and where are we going, right? So we'll get into those very shortly. My name is Robert Ian Bonnick. I'm your host and founder of SpeakuP Monday. As I mentioned, this is episode 407, and SpeakuP Monday is number 1 for entrepreneurism and social impact. And I'm the founder of RIB and Associates, which is a growth strategist here in Indonesia, and we co-create dynamic and incredible businesses for domestic and international organizations that call Indonesia home. Yeah. I know you heard it. It's going to be that kind of a show. So I think most of us know each other, but there are people who are tuning in from wherever they're tuning in from who don't know who you are. So maybe we give like a minute or so to each person to kind of introduce themselves, and then after that we'll get into these 5 or 6 questions, starting with my brother, Don Emilio Canessa from Switzerland.
Thank you, Robert. Hello, everyone. My name is Emilio. I'm the head of global adoption at Dfinity Foundation. Dfinity Foundation is the major contributor to the Internet Computer Protocol blockchain. I live and work in Zurich, and I travel a lot. Why do I travel a lot? Because I'm the architect and the manager of a very large global adoption and community program known as the ICP Hubs program. This program by now extends to 25 countries all over the planet, plus 17 new ones coming soon. It's
round of applause for that. So round of applause, 25, 17, that's my math, 30, 47.
I believe that's probably the biggest adoption and community operation in the whole Web3 space.
Beautiful. Yeah.
No doubt.
You know, like before we get to Grace, on a slightly more serious note, I can be serious sometimes, is that, but this is why we started this whole group, right? And when we were talking about it, it was always about how do we promote, create, find, bring together people that can do work together and create true projects which can be adopted and actually used. And this is what you guys have been doing, right?
Yes, exactly. Actually, Bali inspired me a lot. I was here 2 years ago where we started with all these events and community and bringing people together. And that was really the inspiration to design the global program. Because really here in Bali, we were able to add something that people were looking for. we were still in post-pandemic, remember?
Yeah.
And averagely, when we, talked about crypto and blockchain, was mostly, some chat plus some meetups here and there where people would meet together to discuss more or less high-level, Bitcoin and other basic stuff. But here in Bali, we were able to add something that really people were looking for.
Yeah.
And that gave me a lot of ideas to then design and implement the global program, which is a program that aims to bring people together on a regional base, but also on a global scale. We like to address it as glocal. So a mixture of, let's say, of course, global guidelines and whatever, but mostly the aim is to become global as a sum of local epicenters, we might call them, and it's coming together pretty well.
Love it. Man, so pass that microphone to Grace.
Just one thing, guys.
I'll
But
untangle that
do
one.
you remember about Silicon Valley
Well,
and the Baliverse?
I was about
these
to
were the
say
stuff
that.
that we wanted to build 1 year and a half ago.
Yes.
Look where we are today.
The other thing as well, just we're in Bali, right? So again, just a quick straw poll. I'm sure everyone here knows. Bhinneka Tunggal Ika. Raise your hand if you know what it means. Bhinneka Tunggal Ika. Raise your hand if you know what it means. All right. Raise your hand if you don't know what it means. Cool. All right. So Bhinneka Tunggal Ika is the motto of Indonesia, which is united in diversity. And that's what you were just saying about what ICP has been doing, Definity, right? Bringing people together. So I think that's one of the things that you said you were inspired from being here in Indonesia that you kind of got. So let's move on to Grace. So now, Grace, the first time I met you, Sister Grace, of the selfie stick fame. Those who know her know that she doesn't go anywhere without her selfie stick. So if you're in a selfie stick with Grace, it means that you've made it, right? Well, I want to see that stick activated, right? So here's the thing, right? This is what I love about you. So I think a couple of years ago, Trade Expo Indonesia, which is the largest trade expo in Indonesia, in Jakarta. So now you were, I believe, like the facilitator for Favors to come to be invited. And it was the first time that blockchain had been invited to participate on a huge stage, right, to talk about how can blockchain empower trade and industry in Indonesia and beyond. Yeah. And that was you. So round of applause for Grace, everybody. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and thanks for also choosing me to moderate along with Brother Bruno. Two great choices, by the way. So look, Grace, there's more to you than meets the eye outside of your selfie stick. So please take a minute or so just to explain some of those companies as well that you're involved in, because I think it's really important that people know.
Yeah. Okay, I'm the CEO of Global Business Services and also the founder of Ambassador and CEO Club. The company that I mentioned previously is actually already 20 years old, and Ambassadors and CEO Club already 8 years. This year will be 9 years, and this initiative, this organization, is actually to facilitate between any initiatives actually between government and private sector, community, media, and academician. So we call it pentahelix connection, like that. So we need these 5 sectors to be involved, to be collaborating, to to achieve whatever we want to achieve. With the media, with the support of the government, with the support of private sector, especially for the funding, also the institution, the education institution, and also communities, we come together. And now I'm grateful, thankful for my 2 friends, Bruno and Tom, that they involve me in ICP, so I can learn. Actually, I learn Why they chose me as advisor, I don't know, because I learned
Because
actually
you're
from
the best,
ICP.
Grace. Come on.
Yeah, I learned much from ICP. So it is like that, and I'm also the co-founder of Indonesia Blockchain and Metaverse Center, also Global Sportainment Network. Like that.
Wonderful, Grace. Thank you very much. Welcome. And thanks for coming from Jakarta. So, Brother Tom, I think the first time we met was a while ago as well. Always a man, South African, silky smooth on the vocals. Always got a great point to kind of say and to add and to contribute. Love you, brother. Over to you. 1 minute, sort
Thank
of.
you. Good evening, everyone. I'm Tom, and I'm an alcoholic.
Recovering alcoholic.
So that was yesterday's meeting. It's a pleasure to be here. We've been talking about doing this session for so long, and we have an upcoming one actually in a couple of weeks. Or
14th?
Yeah, 12th. No, 12th. Yeah, 14th is elections. You can't steal the spotlight there. And so I've just been exposed to Robert through the entrepreneurial landscape. I landed in Bali, like most expats, right in the middle of COVID, but for work purposes. And we've been really busy over the last couple of years. We've built an investment company, Bali Investment Club, focuses on early stage impact investment. Since then, been building a couple more projects. So one of them, of course, is the ICP Hub Indonesia, which has kept us, well, let's say, has given us a lot of gray hairs in the last couple of months.
At least you have hair, man.
Yeah, and we've got actually a room full of alumni. So thank you so much to all of you for joining us. It was a really, really cool surprise. I didn't expect that you wanted to see us after all the stress that we put you under during the last quarter of last year. So thank you for being here. It was an amazing learning experience. And
Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah. And then, next to ICP, I run a innovation consultancy and venture studio. These are things that we'll cover in the future. Super stoked to just be surrounded by amazing people. Indonesia on Chain, you stayed quiet about this one, but this was really big. If you need something to happen in Jakarta, if you wanna rally hundreds
Beautifully
of people,
modeled there.
you speak to Grace and she will make it happen. So thank you for joining our team and joining this family. And that's it for now.
All right, Senor, yeah. Please, round of applause for Tom. So, Bruno Calabretta, last but not least. By the way, you're all my brothers and sisters. I love you all, you know that. Over to you, brother.
I love you more. So, hello guys, my name is Bruno Calabretta. As you can guess, I'm Italian. It's the way I say the last name. So I came in Bali 2 years ago now. And when I arrived, I started to get involved with the community. I met Emilio. I started to be involved with ICP, what they were doing with Supernova. You remember those 4 weeks of hackathon and pitch deck was amazing. I started to meet some of the superstars of the island. Melissa is here. So grateful. And guys, it was amazing. It was an incredible journey. And right now I find myself as the co-founder and hub leader of ICP Hub Indonesia. We are doing so many activities right now, and maybe too many. And our goal is to help. Oh yeah, it's just the beginning. I like to say all the time that sky is not the limit. It's the beginning. It's the starting point. This is the way I like to push people all the time. This was the mantra that I was keep repeating during our Incubator Accelerator program. And we did a lot. We are going to do still a lot. But our main goal right now is to help them make sure that Indonesia is going to position itself as a global tech leader. We have everything to make this happen. So,
well, you know, it was a great segue into question one.
Thank you, Robert, for having us here, and I keep it in 1 minute. Let's go with the question.
Right. Okay. Good. So we've got about four of you up here, right? So what we'll do is we'll try and keep the answers to about 30 to 45 seconds, and I might get increasingly hard on it, right? So let's start. I mean, the first question is, what does Indonesia's blockchain future look like? So I'm looking at you, Bruno. You got the hand. You may as well just go.
I'm going to continue what I was saying before, basically.
Exactly. Go.
So why Indonesia is the right place right now? to make it become a global tech leader, a driving force in innovation using blockchain technology. Young generation, young population, 25% of the population is below 15 years of age. And the remaining 65 is in the right working age between 25 and 55, something like this. So this means that there is a lot of human capital that is eager to be part of the future. But they're missing the tool. They're missing the support. They're missing the knowledge.
We'll get on to that.
And we are bridging the gap. So how are we doing it? We see that there is a potential in Indonesia, and we are putting all our effort in making sure that we can use the potential for doing great things. An example, I think we can talk already about it, is the Incubator Accelerator that we launched, where we had 12 amazing projects. Some of them are here that build an amazing product in 7 weeks, starting from zero, arriving to deliver a full MVP, front-end, back-end, and a website fully built on chain using ICP technology. And they all started from zero. They had no idea about ICP.
And the pitch deck and all of that stuff.
I'm going to give you the mic now so you can
You're going
jump
to
into
put
this.
that into Tom's because you've only got 10 seconds, brother. Let's go.
And the last thing, it was Indonesian chain. But about this, I'm going to let the other tell you more about this amazing initiative.
Well done. Tom, over to you.
So just so I get the format, it's the same question and we each answer.
Correct. And now, if he's covered it, just say move on and move on to the next question. It's okay.
Why is Indonesia awesome for Web3? Because it's a young country. I mean, we said it, but I've lived all over the world. So you're telling everyone I'm South African, which I am in my heart and also on paper, but I'm also French, which I was before I was South African. And I got the opportunity to grow up on different continents and different cultures. And when I moved to Indonesia, when I came to Indonesia for the first time, I was just blown away by the openness just of the people. I'm going to speak like as a Caucasian person, blonde, blue eyes. In South Africa, being blonde with blue eyes is not necessarily the best thing. There's a heavy historical past to obviously what used to happen. In Indonesia, I came here and I felt welcomed by Indonesian, where there wasn't that look in people's eyes, and that showed me the opportunity that people from different creeds can really collaborate here. And the next thing which I also experienced was really unique to Indonesia, or let's say Southeast Asia, is the ease of adoption. When people see a new idea presented to them and they see the value that it adds, they don't think, and they just take it on. In Europe, we call it the old continent for a reason, is adoption takes so long because everyone is set in their ways. Here, people are open to what's going to work for them. And so Web3, it's still in its infancy, but it has the potential to transform our lives completely. Technology, this new layer of technology that we've entered, in 10 years' time, the world will have gone 100 years in evolution from the previous century. And I'm going to leave it at that. It's a beautiful place to be, and for this technology to rise, it's the perfect environment to thrive.
Great. Now, Grace, you can pick up this microphone here, my darling. So now for you, Grace, as you mentioned before, you're not a blockchain per se person. So we can modify the question and say, what is the opportunity for an emerging technology like blockchain in Indonesia, being that you do have a very strong, deep business background?
Well, we have what we call 2045 Indonesia vision. Why 2045? Because in 2045, we are going to celebrate our 100th Independence Day. So Indonesia will be 100 years old in 2045. And our government already set our 2045 vision. And I want to take part with ICP to be part of the 2045 digital vision of Indonesia. So it's still a long way to go, but we need to start. We need to We need to help Indonesia. We need as many supports as possible, and thanks to ICP that. Now we can, in terms of blockchain, of course, we now have just kicked off our national movement called Indonesia on Chain. November 2023. Indonesia On-Chain is actually our initiative or movement to propel the adoption of blockchain technology in Indonesia, like that. And we are already have collaboration with more than 100 education institution in Indonesia. So this 100 institutions is like our first batch, like that. And we are expecting for this year to achieve 500 institutions. So you can imagine that if from one institution we can educate around 100 to 200 students, you can
Imagine
calculate
that ripple effect.
the impact that we are trying to make in
Grace,
Indonesia.
Probably we're going to make it before 2045.
Yes, of course. 2045 is too long, but
Now we're going to come back to you. We're going to come back to you, Grace. You got one last thing to add?
This university students or those students who are in the last year of their high school will be the decision makers. Will be the decision makers of this country in 2045. So, yeah.
You know, one of the things, just passing my to Emilio, thank you so much. One of the things which I think it's important for people to know here, so almost 280 million people in Indonesia, over 17,000 plus islands, was it 200 languages, 500 cultures. Now, the voting population, 60% are 35 years and under. I repeat it, 60% of the voting basically majority, the voting populace in Indonesia, 280 million people, 60% are under the age of 35. So it tells you how young and vibrant this country is. The last thing I want to add real quick is that during G20, there was not that many people speak about it enough, I don't think. I'm not sure if you saw it, the Digital Transformation Expo. So if you get a chance, check out the Digital Transformation Expo. And it's a roadmap of Indonesia into the future with the digital transformation inserted within, throughout Indonesian culture. We're talking from the medical sector all the way through the health and all sectors. When I watched it, I got goose pimples.
It's actually 2045.
Yeah,
the
that's
roadmap
right.
is 2045.
Right.
Our target is, the nearest target is 2045.
So, Digital
So we are
Transformation
working,
Expo.
as a nation, we are working hard to achieve the vision. And now I'm happy that we are the part of digital vision of Indonesia 2045.
Love it, Sister Grace. So we'll pass it on to Emilio. Now, I'm not going to give you the same question because I think you've answered it, right? Or you want to add something?
I can add something. Why Indonesia? So I'm lucky enough to have visibility on operations all over the planet, Robert. Yeah. From Honduras to South Korea, really. And from Norway to South Africa. And Southeast Asia is a little special, together with other places of the world, Latin America, for example, and Africa, don't forget about that. So when it comes to new technology adoption, you gotta look at the so-called adoption curve. And as they were saying, there is a lot of untapped audience, let's make it simple, when it comes to the early adopter phase, where we haven't even tapped yet over here. So demographically speaking, and so on and so forth, Indonesia is definitely a prime place to be now when it comes to blockchain and crypto in general. Second, in Europe, in the States, the approach is still top-down. For example, you gotta find yourself teaching at very high-profile masters where all this future manager for any sort of brands are, and they're getting crazy because they can't figure out a way to, force blockchain into their customers. While the good thing over here is that the approach is bottom-up. Yeah. So you got a grassroots movement, and you don't have to kind of impose things, but you enable them. And this is what I think will make Indonesia, together with Thailand, Vietnam, Philippines, the whole Southeast Asia, really a major region for blockchain, together with other factors that we can explain later.
You know, I love the global perspective, and I'm going to give this one to Grace, because the one word that you mentioned, which, well, when you speak it sticks, but this one stuck out, enable. And that's what you did, right? So again, you know, the Trade Expo Indonesia, blockchain, how can it help trade in Indonesia, the largest one in Indonesia? Thank you, Grace. So you are an enabler. I know that with Sportainment Network, I met your business partner, incredible guy, love it. And then again, CEO Club. Yes, CEO Club and all the rest. And you work a lot with Africa, which is what you mentioned, so multiple touch points. But the question, we're going to skip the potential because we've covered that. So the next question, which I think is apt, that the mic should be in your hand, is that, you know, so we have this wonderful potential, we have an incredible place with all the different cultures that we mentioned already. So from your perspective, Grace, you know, because you are, you know, at the cliff face now, right? So you've got your pickaxe and you're hitting it. That's the Indonesia on chain, right? Because you're there and you're doing it with Bruno and Tom and everyone else. Yeah. So my question is then, is that with all this potential, what are the challenges that you believe that Indonesia faces to adopt blockchain, right? And again, maybe choose one or two. I know in your mind, I know how you work now. Yeah. You could probably speak forever, and we would love it, but we haven't got that time tonight. So maybe one or two.
Yeah, the challenges is because this is the challenges, but I would say it is opportunities. The challenges that the digital gap is in Indonesia is so big. Yeah. So this is the challenges and also the opportunity. So for example, the internet. Our internet speed, what is that? The average of our internet speed is so low like that, and just now, the Minister of Communication and Informatics just gathered the internet providers, etc., just to do together to increase the internet speed like that. Because it is without internet speed, we cannot do so much in digital field, right? So that's the basic thing. So that's the challenge, actually. We have 17,000 islands, big and small, and not all is covered by internet. So yeah, that's the challenges.
Thank you, Grace. And so, Tom, one of the things which I like about you, mate, is that when we had this conversation, so who here is Bali-based? Put your hand up. Let's see who's awake. Okay. Who here is not Bali-based? Raise your hand. Who thinks that Bali is a bubble? Raise your hand. Be honest. Be honest. That's everyone here. Listen, let's sack the entire audience. Get them out. Change them in. All right. So I had this conversation with Faye Wongso. You remember Faye? Many times. I had it with Tom a few times. That we love Bali. It's an incredible place. You know, it's such a... Again, I love Bali, right? We all do. However, you know, it is one island of 17,000 of the 280 million people in Indonesia. At the most swelled Bali is maybe 6 or 7 million. That's with major tourism already in, and everyone going, there's too many people here, right? 6 or 7 million. I think as a GDP, it's less than 3-4% of gross GDP for the country. Now, however, the cultural weight is one that I think attracts, is like a jewel in the crown, is like a gateway for foreigners to come. But once you're here, and this is why I'm going to you next, Tom, I know that you've spent quite a bit of time outside of Bali now, and you're looking at other interests, you're doing other types of businesses as well as blockchain. So this question then to you is probably drawing on your kind of knowledge of being at the cliff face, having such a wide knowledge and awareness of how business runs. So what would you say then is, you know, some of the challenges that Indonesia faces, and maybe some of the challenges that the Bali bubble faces too?
Jeez, I've got to keep this under 40 seconds.
All right, mate, 45.
45. Okay, so yeah, the Bali bubble, it's a trap. Bali is a trap. For anybody that's here, that's lived here, you know exactly what I mean. If you're going to work here, if you're doing remote work, okay, cool, just enjoy your life here. But if you want to build something on this island, don't necessarily make Bali the place where you do all your business. Make it a place where you sleep. And look at the other islands, because that's where the real business and the real opportunity is. Just Jakarta runs the entire nation. So if you're engaging with Jakarta regularly, you're engaging with the rest of the islands. And then the more you leave Bali, like even if you go to Surabaya, for example, the more you realize that Bali is just the Disneyland for adults. It's where everybody just comes to get wasted, have one-night stands, and then do all the cool stuff. But the real business, what actually drives the country, is what happens outside of Bali. So just keep that in mind, because it's really real. And the more you get out there, the more you understand.
I don't know with which people are you going out.
With you, what do you mean?
Come on, you don't just get wasted.
Live TV, folks. We can't even block that out. I knew that Tom would give that. By the way, I had a feeling he might give it. But that's the truth. And I appreciate you being you.
When you were talking about the group that you...
He's not done.
He's just getting started. 45 seconds is not just the start.
Just hold on a second. When you guys were talking about the group that you guys did a year and a half ago, I thought you were talking about the Swingers Club. So that's Bali for you. But we're here to be professionals. We represent an official organization, and there will be none of that tonight.
So now answer the question. The challenge facing Indonesia and Bali.
The challenges are very simple. So first of all is geography. We've got a whole bunch of islands, so getting around physically is not as simple as the mainland where you got trains. So that base infrastructure of getting around is not as simple. Infrastructure in Bali, as we all know, is a bit of a nightmare. This is where the digital comes in, because digital obviously connects us to everyone. So having better internet capabilities does great, but I'm surprised to see that everybody has a smartphone. Here you can get a powerful smartphone for $100. So that's not really a problem. I would say the opportunity and the challenge are the same. It's the youth. It's that Indonesia is a country in rebirth in many ways. And because it's so spread, it's a generational job to bring everybody up to speed. That's why we're not talking about 2025 vision, we're talking about 2045. It's a generational overcoming. So I would look at the challenge and the opportunity being the same, and leave it as, the enabling and educating people to bring them into that higher sphere.
Thank you, brother Tom. So Bruno,
I would like to add one thing to this. So it's true, guys. Bali, it is a bubble right now, meaning the prices are super high, and there are people who come here and just get wasted. But it's also true that right now we are seeing in Bali more influencers all flying in. If you go around the island, the only thing you see is people with the phone, taking picture, making video, dancing on the beach. This is the most common thing that you can see in Bali. So the reality is that in Bali, you cannot do too much to improve the situation for Indonesia. So you need to fly out. So we've been spending more time in Jakarta. I've been spending more time in Jakarta. I've been flying there more often, and I'm coming.
You never come back.
You see, at some point he thought I was not coming back to Bali. I was like, when are you coming? Because the reality is that if we want to make things that are going to make a difference, we need to stay out of Bali. This is a conversation that we have quite often when we have the recap with the ICP team. And one thing that we say all the time is, I'm trying to escape the Bali bubble if we want to make a difference. And actually, by leaving Bali, we are making a difference now. Because we are using Bali as our home. I love to stay in Bali, it's amazing. And probably, I don't want to live in Jakarta because it's too big. I escaped New York, so, I'm looking for a different lifestyle.
Remember, we have 200 malls in Jakarta.
Exactly.
200 malls in Jakarta.
If you don't know what to do, guys, basically you have one mall per day for the entire year. So in a year, maybe you don't do all the malls that are in Jakarta. So you need to have a lot of money to spend because you can do only shopping. But you can do also a lot of business. Right. You meet a lot of people that are looking forward to do deal opportunity with you, to give you a hand. The support that the government is giving us, it's crazy. Like we met with Paxoni from 1000 Digital Startup. From the first meeting that we had, he was like, Bruno, I can see that you want to do things here. I want to work with you. We had a meeting 2 weeks ago in Jakarta. They want to do a partnership with us. 1000 Digital Startup is a national incubator supported by the Minister of Communication and Informatica. They're going to work with us. They're going to give us access to 1,400 startups, all Indonesian, and we're going to handpick 50 out of this to be part of our Accelerator program. You understand that?
Round of applause.
Like Tom is crying because after our last Accelerator and my hair are more white, his are more blonde, but we actually, went through a lot. And now when I tell him, man, be ready because that was nothing. The next one it's 50, and he's like, shit. So, but we believe in this. We believe that we can do it. And I cannot announce right now because we are finishing to sign agreement, but I can tell you that there are bigger players that are coming on board, bigger player that we are going to announce in the next couple of weeks, but there is a lot going on over here.
Right. Now, there's two things. Firstly, thank you, everybody, so far for being honest. We have fun, we laugh and we joke, but there's also this honesty and sincerity and authenticity that runs through it, and that's what we're about, right? So, Brother Emilio, now, here we are, right? So with you giving us this global perspective, which I'm loving. So over to you, the same question. The challenge is that you feel, having lived here before, then gone away to do the whole global thing, coming back, what are some of the challenges that you think blockchain faces in Indonesia?
I believe more or less the challenge is the same all over the world. Okay. It's something that is not regional, but possibly is global, and it's aligning different stakeholders. That's the only thing that is stopping countries from becoming, blockchain powerhouses and develop whatever they want to develop on an institutional level, on an enterprise level, and on a retail level. These are the three areas you got to keep in mind when it comes to blockchain adoption. But it doesn't happen, by itself. You gotta align institutions and ministers and all this association of entrepreneurs and high-profile people that also have connection and this and that, and you need to align people with capital. Those things sometimes require substantial capital because they happen at a scale, right? Especially when you talk about countries that are so big as Indonesia. So I really believe there's only one challenge. If you're able to align all the stakeholders, this thing will happen way before 2045. Because it's kind of filling a gap. Blockchain technology in Southeast Asia will be big because it's filling a little bit of a gap. Issues related to identity, for example, issue related to data sovereignty, issue related to the different things that can be regulated eventually through NFTs or tokens, and they solve problems. While again, in Europe, probably they create problems. That's a little bit of a difference. So I don't see that many challenges. You see, things happen quite smoothly once you're able to communicate properly and to align with the proper stakeholders. And this is happening all over the world, more or less.
Thank you. I love the global perspective. So what we've done, these 5 questions, we've answered pretty much all of them except one, right? Because there's also the bonus question that we're going to have fun with. But we have 40, 50 people here, so we want to make sure that you get value as well, right? So in about 5 minutes, the microphone that Bruno has is going to go out over there towards you. So if you have any questions that might be in your mind, please just raise your hands. We'll get the microphone to you. 5 minutes, man. He's already put his hand up. All right, the first question is him. Right? Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you. So yeah, if you have a question, just think of what that question might be. There's no question too silly. Please, yeah. So remember, it's like we're in Bali right now, so it's a collective intelligence that's formed by all of us being here. So there'll be people who maybe would like to ask a question but don't have the confidence to do it. And so if you do ask the question, you're helping them as well. So 2 questions to go. Maybe we'll do the bonus one, yeah. So 30 seconds each. And then we'll do the bonus one. So we've spoken about, where we see the blockchain future for Indonesia. We've spoken about the challenges, spoken about why Indonesia is so ready right, for this. And we've spoken about how Indonesia on-chain, and obviously why we're here tonight, right, the ICP Hub, people, is beautifully set up, right, to answer that call, right? So 30 seconds is what support would you like to see that will help to expedite, catalyze that process? 30 seconds.
From who?
Great question. In a minute, we're going to do government, so let's not talk about government. So anything that's not government related.
So I think that the best way for us to keep thriving and to really continue to build what we are doing, if you are an entrepreneur, if you have an idea, if you are a developer, if you want to do something, if you want to make the difference, reach out to us. We are looking forward to help you grow, support you, and make sure that your ideas can become something tangible. So we look for projects, developers, entrepreneurs, founders, investors, whoever wants to get involved. Our doors are always open.
Love it. Tom, 30 seconds. You did very well, by the way. Woo. On fire! Oh! Bruno's on fire.
Gil is proud of me.
I'm going to keep it super short, and I'm just going to say buy ICP tokens.
Oh! That's a round of applause right there. There you go.
Buy and hold.
Hold, yeah. 12.4.
All right, maybe Grace and Emilia will share this one, so you can pass it on to Grace. Yeah, you two can share that one. So the question is, not government. So what support do you feel would be really helpful to help this whole process of adoption in Indonesia of blockchain? What support would you like to see?
As many private sector as possible involved in this, because they have money, but actually they don't know about this technology. So once they know, they adopt it, and then we can see how the impact will be, because they are also the players in this country. And like Bruno said,
do you remember the number, the percentage of MSMEs that make up the economy? 'Cause I think people should know, or SMEs that make up the economy of Indonesia.
I'm talking about the big companies first. Like Indonesia on-chain, we are backed up by one of the conglomerates in Indonesia, Jababeka Group. Until now, they don't give us funding, but they give us opportunity. They give us their network like that. For example, like this, in Jababeka area, there are 1 million only in their ecosystem, in their industrial estate. There are 1 million employees.
Amazing.
Only in their industrial estate in Jababeka estate. So you can imagine if they already adopt blockchain, it will increase the adoption in Indonesia, the adoption of blockchain in industry in Indonesia, like that, different industries in Indonesia. And in Jababeka industry, there are 50 nationalities, 50 companies from 50 countries there. And President University, also the co-founding partners of Indonesia on-chain, they have students from 30 countries plus. So you can imagine the driving force that the big industry have. And what you also mentioned about the SMEs, yes, 60% of the Indonesia economy is formed by the SMEs. That's why during the recession, we are not collapsed like other big countries. because big countries, they depend on big industries, big companies. So when they collapse, the country also collapse like that. But in Indonesia, our economy is backed up by the SMEs, and the SMEs have more. More because they are not big, so they are not really affected by the global recession, and instead they are actually support our national economy.
Love it. Thank you, Sister Grace. Woo. Brother Emilio. So
All right.
30 seconds.
30 only.
All right, 45, fine.
I'll take a little longer, maybe. That's funny because at the office, I am the regional guy. No, every region is different. And tonight, I'm here, I'm the global guy.
Global guy.
All right.
It suits you, man. It suits you.
How can we help? Well, there's three things. Again, three you have to consider when it comes to, again, blockchain adoption and strong ecosystem. So one is the protocol, of course. Which is the technological base of everything. One is the community, one is the ecosystem of project and enterprises. On a protocol level, this year we will prepare a very strong multi-chain environment, which will be extremely suitable to run basically everything you might possibly want to run on blockchain in a very seamless way. For enterprises which have completely different needs, we will roll out an incredible private blockchain solution, which you will hear about in a couple of months probably, to suit a completely different set of needs, which are not the ones of the public or the small entrepreneur. As well, for institution, we're looking into new identity solutions, all these things that will see blockchain being a little bit invisible and running in the background. On the community side, we believe that keeping the same roadmap with ICP Hub will really help improving cooperation and development of different initiatives that go from really education to whatever, incubation, awareness in general. So we believe these are the three major ways that we can help with.
Beautiful. Now, question time. So we have one question from you. So we've got Ayu or Guz. Now, Guz is already here. So, Sister Ayu, are you there? Yeah, there's Hadis. So, Bruno, if you give your microphone to Hadis, right? We've got a man question already. Now, come and grab a seat, my brother. Yeah, yeah, come and grab a seat. Grab a seat. Yeah. Guz, he's over there. We'll give you a chance to camera him up, right? So, the pretense is this. Questions, you've got 30 seconds to ask your question, right? Otherwise, I know what you're going to do. You're going to tell us about your project for a minute, and then a question you're going to forget, right? So 30 seconds. Thank you for starting us off. Over to you.
Thank you. So my question to you guys is regulatory landscape. We've been building blockchain, and we launched our own blockchain, Nusantara Chain, 2021. And every time we have project, it always comes up the issue of regulatory landscape. So please, any suggestion, any inputs regarding regulatory, especially in Indonesia? Thank you.
All right, so what we're going to do to make this, otherwise we'll be here for the whole night, which I don't mind. I like these guys. So maximum of two panelists can answer the question, right? Maximum, right? Minute each.
Can I answer?
Yeah, you can. Just take it. You got the mic in your hand, Bruno. Come on, brother.
So, as Elon Musk will say, regulation is the biggest problem for innovation.
Exactly.
I just finished to read his book. I suggest to everyone to read it. It's amazing. From Walter Isaacson, amazing. So regulation is always a problem. But as Emilio was saying, in Europe, in the old world, and even America now can be considered the old world, they have too much regulation, and this is stopping innovation. So you're seeing that projects are thriving. They're not really creating something new. While instead we are seeing in Asia, in Southeast Asia, in India, in Africa, we are seeing many, many more projects building and growing. Now, the reality is that here in Indonesia, we still are in a gray area from several points of view. So you can do things and you actually don't know if what you are doing is legal or is illegal. Maybe you keep doing it until they come and knock at your door and they tell you, hey man, probably you have to pay a fine. But you've been making money until that moment. So even paying a fine is okay. Second, it depends what is that you are doing. Because of course...
Hey, listen, I'm not interrupting. I'm letting Tom will answer afterwards. Bruno, Mike told your mouth, brother.
No, and the other thing is that if you are not providing like crypto token, because this is where probably you are going to have more problem here in Indonesia, but you are more providing the blockchain, that is actually the technology that is the layer on which your enterprise, your business, your project is based. Let's say that there you don't have any kind of problem. Regulations are actually open. We can see the government is opening their doors, is opening their arms to new innovation. They're saying, yeah, please do something innovative. Educate my people. Make sure that we are going to thrive, we are going to survive, we are going to be the #1 in the world. So unless you go specific rules that are telling you don't do that, you're still safe. So...
Thank you, Bruno.
Bruno Calabretta.
I'm Italian, man. Come on.
Listen, you tell how it is. I love that. Who's the second person? Emilio, you want it? Emilio, okay. And then we're going to pass the mic to Sister Josie. Yes.
I believe regulators are kind of acknowledging that times are changing. And every nation, will do that at its own speed. Some places in the world, they really advance when it comes to this, namely El Salvador, for example, or Switzerland, specifically the city of Lugano, which I deal with on a regular basis. And it's just a matter of wanting to do so and probably get inspiration from places that, for different reasons, have taken this road a few years back. The moment regulators will understand that this is something that can be a game changer, can drive whatever they want to drive. It can be a new form of tourism, it can be new sectors for enterprises, it can be more jobs for people that are out of universities and maybe now they don't know what to do. Again, it will happen in a pretty disruptive way. So now I understand that it's a little bit difficult every time to deal with this gray area, as Bruno was mentioning. But I'm pretty positive because that this can snap really quickly.
Beautiful. No, you can stop right there. Oh, go on.
Later. Next question.
All right, we're going to go to the youngest blockchain in Indonesia today in Bali. So, my darling, round of applause. All right. So, first you start by my name is, and just let us know how old you are, my darling.
My name is Grace, and I am 11 years old.
Love it, Grace. Now, what's your question, my dear?
How and why did you start the Disruptives?
Ooh. How and why did you start the Disruptives? Okay, so we got maximum 2 judges. Right,
I'm gonna give it short, and I'm gonna give it to
all right,
Tom.
good.
Grace, we love you, and that T-shirt is amazing. You look so cool in it. So, as Emilio was saying, we need to do things that are going to disrupt our world. It's gonna change it. It's gonna revolutionize it. That's from where we took the name. I actually have to thank my wife for helping me to come out with this beautiful name, Disruptives, and. It means change, it means revolution. Sometimes it can have a negative meaning, but we want to take it in a positive way. So it's revolution, it's the change that we are going to embrace. Tom can say a couple of things more of what we are doing.
Love it. Tom?
Yeah. So it's like why and how. Okay, well, how it's pretty simple. You just got to convince people to believe the same idea that you have and that convince them that they should stop everything else in their life and just focus on doing that every day. And sometimes it's a lot easier than you think. The why Well, I'm going to have to just excuse my French for a second, but it was about fucking time. You've invited me to a couple of these events. I was not representing the sector for a couple of years. I've been in impact investing. And every time people invited me on these panels, I'd ask myself, like, why am I here? Like, I'm not a Web3 guy. Like, why did you invite the impact guy in the Web3 conversation? And so I would just get upset because I would see all of these projects that just add, like, no value to society. And that's why I stayed away from Web3 for a long time, because I'm just like, you guys are just freeloaders. You come to this island to be served, but you're not contributing to the fabric of the island. And we're here as guests, and we actually have a high duty, which is to serve the islands back. And so when Bruno approached me, that was one of the first things I said. I'm like, Bruno, listen, I'm a complete nerd. I love technology, and I believe that technology should serve us. By the way, that's what technology is for. It's just to make our lives easier. And I said, I'll only do this with you on one condition, is that we move the agenda. We move the needle, and we make sure that we teach people and we encourage projects that are connected to the well-being of the islands. And that's really the why. For us, it's a way of contributing our passion and our knowledge into making Indonesia amazing. Well, even more amazing than it is.
Respect, man.
Just
Respect.
one question for Tom. Did we make it?
Oh, we made it past 2023.
Right. Next question. Anyone else got a question? Yes. So just over here. Yeah. So maybe the guys can help you get that mic there. Yes. Okay. Yes. Slide over there. So we've got maybe one more question after this, and then we're going to do a fast round. It's going to be fun. These guys are going to regret it, but it doesn't matter.
Okay.
In a good way.
So my question is, according to the report of Electric Capital, like the dynamic of the latest years is that the amount of developers in United States is decreasing, the same as in Europe. Instead, in Asia, the amount of developers is growing like crazy. So first, I want to say with all the ICP things that you're doing in Asia, it's to be in the right time in the right place. But I guess you're facing the younger generations, the kids who right now are in high school, at the universities. Maybe they know zero about blockchain. So my question is, how do you address them? How do you collaborate with them? And which challenges are you facing?
All right.
The Indonesia on chain. I'll do a very quick one on this one.
Grace, don't worry. You got 2 questions in the last section.
We all know, like, where we have the capacity to learn the most when we're young. That's just how we designed. And so we all struggle to deal with blockchain because our minds are already set. Our neurons are built. We look at these things and we're like, oh, what's this new thing you're asking me to learn? Like, no, I refuse it. When we went and we did our event in front of like over 500 students or something like that, it was incredible. You can see, even though the people we were speaking to, the young generation, didn't really understand what we were talking about yet, you could see it in the energy and in their eyes that they mentally were open to receiving that information. So it's like teaching them geography, it's like teaching any subject. There's no restrictions on the concepts, it just gets absorbed. And for us, we were talking about also the why we're doing Indonesia on chain and why we're starting at that grassroots levels is because we would have loved to have people like us be there for us when we were younger to guide us in this direction. And
nice little segue handover.
Good question. The report Natasha was talking about is the most kind of well-known industry report that gets out once a year. So the reason why many developers they left probably in the last 2 years is because they were not able to make money with the project. So actually they're doing something else now to make a living. Our ecosystem saw a growth in the number of devs, and that's very positive. Not many blockchain were listed with a green plus in that report. I believe it's important to create an environment where devs can thrive beyond the initial support. That can be, the hackathon or the grant or an initial, angel money from somebody. Because the truth is, like, if they can build something that can become an enterprise somehow, then you have a high retention. Otherwise, you will have a very big list of commits on GitHub, but not so meaningful. So we are actually trying to address this as we speak, because the report was just out a couple of weeks ago or last week or whatever, and this is a discussion that it's going on big time in Zurich.
Yeah, I love it. So you got one question. So last question. Wait for the microphone, darling. Josie, yeah. If you could just use Guzman. This is the last question. Then we're going to do a fun, quick fire round after that, and then we're going to wrap. All right? Not rap as in rap, but as in finish this episode.
Thank you.
Just wait for Guzman to mic you up and get the camera on you, my darling. You look beautiful as well. I mean, come on. Camera needs to be there.
My question's very specific, and it's really for Emilio. And now that you've gone around the world and kind of gotten behind ICP, what's the biggest myth about the perception of people about the internet computer that you've seen around the world? And do you want to, clarify that myth? Something that people think about the internet computer that you're like, everybody thinks about this, but actually it's not. It's more like an image thing with so many blockchains out there. What's one thing that you've kind of like?
That's a good one. The technology behind the internet computer is a little bit different from other blockchain projects in many ways that we can address maybe afterward. So you gotta. People might think that every blockchain is the same. People might think that the internet computer runs like any other blockchain. Basically, we keep saying, built on chain, but most of the cases, blockchain are used to regulate the ledger and the token, but everything else is basically done on legacy IT infrastructure. While the internet computer is more similar to a decentralized cloud, because it runs on its own sovereign network of nodes. Plus, there is a DAO on top of it that orchestrates the nodes and the subnets and the smart contracts, all those things that you like, and the governance. And it's not immediate, even for people that have been in the industry for quite some time, to understand that the architecture is different, that the cryptography behind this is different. The internet computer secret sauce is something called chain key cryptography, which runs in a different way compared to other protocol, and that leads to many features that are somehow not so easy to understand. For example, no needs for oracles, or direct integrations with other blockchains, or smart contracts that runs directly on browser, and so on and so forth. I don't want to get too technical, but the myth around the internet computer is probably being very, very similar to other blockchain, while in fact is not. And on our website, internetcomputer.org, anybody can go and have a look at all this magic that is going on with smart contracts that are called canisters in our ecosystem, with the fact that the blockchain is a stateful blockchain, not a stateless blockchain, all things that you know very well, right? Well, and why for example, bridges are not needed. This is a very big topic in Web3 for who is familiar with it. So yes, I think there's still a great deal of education to be faced, but in 2023 we've done a lot. And we have also received a great deal of recognition around the world, so pretty happy about it.
So let me give a round of applause. Brother Guzman and Hadis and I, if we bring this microphone back to Bruno, we're going to do this fast round, which I'm going to explain exactly how it's going to work very soon. But just to put a bit of context to that, so Emilio and I, like years ago, Emilio realized that, when it comes to the technical side of blockchain, not really me. I'm the guy who's always talking about real-world adoption. How can normal people understand blockchain? Because that's me. Right? It's like nodes and patches. I'm like, what? so that's kind of that period of time. I remember it was you calling me the blockchain architect after tourism architect, and then bringing all these different blockchain events together, which I still use, by the way. Thank you, Don. So here's what we're going to do. So the last 5 minutes now, I want us a bit of audience, and I want to see how cruel you really are, or not, as the case may be. So they're going to have a quick fire kind of round. Now, you can be really nice and give them at least 10 seconds to think about the answer, or you can just say, hey, you got 5 seconds to think about the answer and go, right? So I just want a raise of hands, right? So who thinks that they should be given 10 seconds to think about their answer? Raise your hand. Okay. I love Mel. She's like, nah. All right. Who thinks that they should be given 5 seconds or less to answer the question? Raise your hands. Yeah, you see, you guys are cruel. I love it. That's by the way, I go for the 5 seconds every time. Right. So I'm going to cheat a little bit for you, right? So the 5 questions are, but I won't tell you who they're going to, right? Grace, you've got 2 because you didn't speak a lot in the one before. It's just how it works, darling. So the questions are, to create a thriving ecosystem. There was a book that was written called The Regional Advantage, our friend Oki, if you remember, Tom. It's about 4 things, and we added 5 to optimize it. Big hands, big optimization. So, in no particular order, in close proximity, availability of capital, availability of talent, availability of projects, availability of leadership, then availability of friendly government support. Right? So they're the 5 questions. Grace is going to get 2, right? So they don't know which one's going to get the question, but whoever gets the question, I'll call it out. You've got 5 seconds to think, and then you're going to answer this one thing. There's a voting system or scoring system, 1 being abysmal, terrible, man, we've got so far to go, and 10 being like mic drop moment, we got this, nothing to change, nothing to improve, we've got it, right? So each question is a score from 1 to 10. So you need to say the score is whatever and why. All right? It's a 30-second answer, by the way, not this minute, 2-minute carry-ons. Nope, because you're ready. That's right, so you're not going to start. All right, so Tom, this question's for you. 5 seconds, remember, right? If it takes longer than 5, just say, Tommy! Just shout it out, right? So, availability of capital. Go. What's the score?
7.
7. Why?
Because people got to get paid. People got to pay rent. People got to buy stuff. People work for money.
Okay. So let me rephrase that. In Indonesia, the landscape, when it comes to blockchain, the availability of capital, you're applying a 7 to, right?
Yeah, 7.
Okay, cool. Next one. Bruno, availability of talent. Where is Indonesia right now? 1 to 10.
8.
Why?
Because there is an abundance of project, and we could see 1 month of soft promotion of...
So we're going to get your mic, just increase the microphone volume. Thank you.
Obama out. Yeah. So 8, why? Because we have an abundance of project. Think just...
this is talent, by the way, with talent.
Of talent. Talent project, at the end the founder are the one that are making a project. So yeah, we have an abundance. If you think when we launched our incubator program, in 1 month of soft promotion, I swear, we paid only for 1 ads on Instagram. That's it. And we just promoted on some Telegram group. We had in 1 month more than 115 applications being submitted. So you see that there is an abundance of projects. Every day, I have at least 3-4 people per day that are writing me on my LinkedIn telling me, I want to build an ICP, what do I have to do? I have this idea, please give me a feedback. Come and be an advisor in my project every day. So project, too much. If I can, No, it's okay.
Good. Next one is to Emilio, right?
The money's there. It just needs to be converted.
It's done. Availability, Emilio has a mic already. So,
Yep.
Emilio, the question is, availability of leadership in Indonesia, what score would you give?
I would give a 7 here.
Why?
Because there's obviously great potential, still needs to express itself. But again, and I'm talking relatively to blockchain, not in general, right? But this happens across the board, more or less all over the planet. A lot of people are ready to become leaders in the space, but this thing is still in the making. So I will give it 7. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you. Sister Grace, this one is in your wheelhouse. So, availability of friendly government support, what would you give Indonesia right now? And why would you give that score out of 10?
8. Because I'm Indonesian. For you guys, you are not Indonesian, perhaps different score. Yes, 8. Why? Because usually, actually, government quite open for any initiatives or technology like that. The thing is how to approach them. That's usually are not the thing that are not possessed by the foreigners. How to approach the government. You know the government, you meet the ministers, the governors, the bupati in the event. But after that, you cannot touch them after that. You cannot. But usually, with the help of the people who are dealing with them, they are quite open actually. And that's why we need to collaborate. The ones that can bring you to the government and also the ones who have initiative or technology like that.
Beautiful. And Bruno already answered the other one, availability of projects, so we'll stop that there. But I will go to you for this, because as you are the founder, right, of the ICP Hub, and I'm going to let you maybe give us 30 seconds, how can people get in touch with, interact with, and what would you like to see in the next 3 weeks?
Okay, before to start, I would like to call Benita to come here because she's also part of our Disruptives Hub. She's going to become the next CEO of the project, and Benita has been helping us a lot. I'm so grateful that we
Round of applause for Benita.
So a round of applause for Benita. Benita, wait. So you get in the camera as well. So guys,
1 minute, Brother Bruno.
What is Disruptives and what we expect to see? Yep. So Disruptives want to be the bridge that is going to help local communities, local projects, helping you to empower, to make sure that you have the right support, knowledge, and even fund support to make sure that your project will go to the next step. What I want to see in the next 3 weeks, join us. Come to our event. Connect with us on LinkedIn. Go on our website. Submit your application for a project. If you are an investor and you want to invest some money, we are always ready to receive some check cut. So don't be shy. And we're always open. We are always available. Come and reach us.
All right, guys. So we got Benita, Bruno, Tom, Grace, Emilio. A round of applause, please. Thank you very much indeed, guys. Tropical Nomad, thank you very much again. Guzman, Hadis, Sister Ayu, we'll see you next week. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you all.